Hey everyone, this is Tracy Friedlander. You're listening to Crushing Classical, redefining a thriving classical music career. Hey everyone, welcome to my very first solo podcast episode. I decided to record this today as a follow-up to my free training that I did a couple of weeks ago called Find Your Boss Self, and to expand a little bit more about my program, which I introduced on the last day, called the Visibility Workshop, which is a 4-month program designed to take musicians from clueless and overwhelmed by social media and audience growing to masterful and confident in your efforts. And so, over the last few weeks, I've had a lot of conversations with people who are considering doing this. A lot of them have projects in mind, and some of them already have projects going, and they need to figure out more ways to grow their audience. And even some have significant size audiences already, but they want to discover ways to expand and explore other avenues that can produce income streams. And so I'm super passionate about growing an audience with intention so that you can actually create income for yourself. Growing an audience just for likes and follows is a fun activity for some, not me. But if it doesn't produce income for you, it's going to feel eventually like a job you created that you don't get paid for. So I'm not a fan of that. So just to clear that up, this is not what this is about. This is about creating an audience, growing an audience, and following or find your following with intention so that you can actually become more powerful in your career and create income streams. On the free training, I shared some examples of people who are doing that right now, like Nathan Cole, the violinist, who launched a program very successfully last summer, and he's continuing to do that. You can follow him at Nate's Violin, and he's going to be on the podcast next month to break down exactly what he's doing, but he's doing really well, and he's really redefining what it means to create programs online as a violin teacher. So that's super exciting. And as we go forward, more and more musicians are wanting to create this and, similar businesses. And what's exciting is that there really aren't a lot of people doing it yet. So when I talk to people and they tell me their ideas, I'm like, ooh, that's amazing, because nobody else is doing it. So you can sweep up. And right now, a lot of people, the people who are doing it, which aren't a lot of people, but they are actually sweeping up. There's only like 1 or 2 people teaching audition, and there's only one person who I can think of who's doing violin lessons in the way that Nathan is doing. So that's really interesting. And like I said, it's the ground floor opportunity in music careers. But through the conversations I've been having with people, there have been some consistent messages around their concerns. And so I want to talk about those. The first, I'll just tell you what they are right now. The first one is that people think it's terrifying to start building an audience and being public and visible online. So that's the first thing, which I'll go into in a second. The second thing people are really concerned with is time. How much time it takes, how much time it's going to take them not only to do this program, but also to consistently build their audience. And the third thing is really about your colleagues and what they think of you and how you're viewed in your life. So here we go. I'm going to break down all of these things. The first thing is the terrifying piece. So some people feel introverted, some people feel shy about being public, and some people are nervous about reactions that they might get online. All of these things can actually seem terrifying. And I get it, because I was there when I first started. I was starting from scratch with 0 following. And I just started posting my thoughts about creating a career that's unique, and the music business and music education and going into debt and all these things And a lot of my ideas are unconventional, and a lot of them challenge the traditional beliefs of what's possible for a music career. And sometimes I would upset people, and sometimes they would lash out in the comments, or sometimes people wouldn't appreciate an invitation to a free challenge and they would tell me to go away. Or one time somebody completely misinterpreted what I said and took it the wrong way. And it was ridiculous, her reaction. But I have to say that in each one of these cases, that was about them and not about what I did. Honestly, sometimes people can get triggered, and you know what happens online. You've seen comment threads on posts. Like, people, that can happen sometimes, but I have to say, of the almost 4 years I've been doing this, that has happened like 3 times. So really, while it is a potential hazard, really nothing happens. Nothing really happens to you, and you just move on because it means nothing about you and what you're doing. The other part of the terrifying piece is has a lot to do with the musician identity and what your colleagues think of you and what other people think about what you're doing. And so I'll tell you my experience because I know how that feels as well. And maybe you're listening to this and going, yeah, I don't know how people would take it. Or maybe you have talked to people about project ideas that you have and they get shot down, or you get a blank stare. You get someone looking at you like, "What?" So, and I've had that experience. I mean, when I first started and I shared about my podcast, some people would even say, "What's a podcast? What are you doing? Do you get paid for that? What is that? Like, why are you doing this? How are you going to make money?" That's what people always want to know. And if you're still exploring that, those can be really awkward conversations and you can feel really self-conscious in those moments. But I want you to know that those don't mean that what you're doing or what you've chosen to do is wrong. Just because someone is putting you on the spot like that does not mean that you're not doing the right thing or that you should reconsider. It just means that you need to find other people who are supportive, who are thinking outside of the box, and then you will feel like you're doing the right thing and you're in the right place. And so that's one of the most important parts of my program is the cohort, the group of people who are working together to step outside their own comfort zone and create something new in their lives and start building their career. And actually, that leads me to the third reason why I really feel like growing an audience is so important. Because as you step outside of your own box and start creating and realizing other parts of yourself and showing those online, and navigating new ways to bring value to people and also to bring income to yourself, it allows you to have power and control in an area of your career where you might not have had that power before. And I'll just share with you my experience in my career as a freelancer and as somebody who ended up playing a whole lot of assistant horn when maybe that wasn't, I shouldn't say maybe, that was not my favorite position to play. But I took what I could get. And so many musicians take what they can get, or if you win an audition, that's your spot. And while it's awesome to get a job and it's awesome to be in a freelance scene, you don't have always a whole lot of control over that part of your life. While you may be making money and, living the dream because you're playing an instrument for your career and getting paid for it, you don't have a whole lot of control. So in my own case, it always sucks in the summer, especially at the end when the gigs are dried up and there's not a lot of freelancing and there's not a lot of work. So this is an opportunity to start creating something where you have control over the income streams in your life, and you can create a situation in your life where you don't have that time of year where you're struggling. Or maybe you can actually go on a vacation. I mean, that's allowed. So these are definitely things that will be covered. I mean, there's so much content. There's so many exciting things in store for the visibility workshop. It's not just navigating Facebook and Instagram, because believe me, you could find out about that online. This is so much deeper than that, and it's really targeted to the niche of being a classical musician because you can find out a whole bunch of stuff about business online. And I know people who do it, and I've done it too. You can buy courses and programs, but they're geared to everybody, not musicians. So what happens is you aren't exactly sure where you fit in with all of these people and if your business idea fits in and how it adapts to our field. There's so many more questions. This program is highly, highly personalized so that that you won't have that missing link of what does this actually mean for our niche? And actually, audience building in our niche is different. It's a lot different. It's more hands-on, and it's smaller. Oh, and that's the third thing I wanted to bring up, which is time. So many people are concerned about how much time audience building takes. And I have to tell you this, it does take time to grow an audience, meaning you have to be patient. You're not going to wake up one day and have 10,000 followers on Instagram. But what I will say is that it does not have to take up all of your time creating content. If you Google it tomorrow, they're going to say you need to post 3 times a day, or you'll find all this stuff that just convolutes and confuses you. And the truth is you can create a way to work on this that fits into your life. And actually, that's the best way to do it, because the key to growing an audience is consistency so that you have that longevity going forward. And if you go and then you burn out, that's like the recipe for disaster when it comes to audience building. You really want to be consistent, and that is how you grow an audience. And so this is one of the biggest things we'll be tackling, because it's my mantra that audience building is absolutely something that can fit into your lifestyle, something that does not have to take up all your time, and something that can be actually enjoyable as you connect and grow your own community around the things that you want to talk about, that you want to teach, and that you want to provide. So that is basically it. If there's anything you're sitting here thinking, oh, I wish you would cover that, I wish I could have the answer to your burning question, just go ahead and email me. You can always email me at crushingclassical@gmail.com anytime. And if you write to me, I could easily make a Facebook Live video and put it inside Classical Cats Facebook group. So if you're not inside Classical Cats Facebook group, please go ahead and join. I'll put a link in the show notes to join that group. Also, I'll put a link in the show notes to book a call if you are interested in finding out more about the visibility workshop and you want to know if it's right for you. If it is right for you, we can talk about how to join. And maybe it's not right for you, and that's okay too. I would love to just talk to you and hear what your ideas are. So I'm going to go ahead and put that link in the show notes, and I would love to get on a call with you. So thanks for listening today. If you have any questions, please just send me an email at crushingclassical@gmail.com, and I will see you next time on an interview episode, which will come out next week. I've got a really awesome guest. Next week is a jazz tubist named Daniel Herskadal, and I'm really excited to share this one. So thanks for joining me today on this kind of brand new series. I don't know if it'll be a series yet. We'll see if you guys like this solo podcast. I'm curious to hear what else you would like to hear me talk about. And any ideas, I welcome them. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.